Okay, good morning. Thank you for coming today. My name is Greg Bentley, and I'm with the law firm Bentley & Moore in Irvine, California. And we're here today to announce the filing of 10 lawsuits on behalf of 10 separate people that have suffered significant life-changing injuries as a result of defective e-cigarette products. These 10 lawsuits are being filed to get full compensation for the harm that was suffered to each of the individuals that purchased an e-cigarette product hoping to stop smoking cigarettes. The industry has marketed itself as a smoking cessation device. It is still completely unregulated. The FDA has attempted to gain regulation over the industry since 2007 to be continually fought by not only the vaping industry, but now also by big tobacco, because big tobacco is clearly in this game and now the largest sellers and manufacturers of the e-cig products. We're filing these lawsuits and announcing the filing today to continue to bring attention to the problem, because these explosions are happening all across the country on a continual basis as a result of this industry rushing to place products on the market at the expense of public safety, refusing to allow any regulatory agency to take a look at the product to make sure it's safe for consumption, to make sure that they're not going to explode, that these batteries can handle a certain level of charge and heat without posing danger to the public. Each of these lawsuits are separate people that suffered injuries recently throughout Southern California. These 10 lawsuits will be filed in the jurisdictions to where the injuries occurred. But each of these people have stories, and we'll get to it, and we have pictures of each of the people that we're filing the lawsuits on behalf of. These are devastating injuries, second, third degree burns to thighs. We have fingers that are amputated, broken bones. People are suffering injuries to their face, loss of teeth, loss of eye. These are massive injuries that are occurring all across the country due to these defective products. We also want the public to know that LG Chem, the LG company that is the major battery manufacturer in the world and makes TVs and electronic equipment, their batteries are also exploding. And you're going to hear from Eric Howell. He's here today with us, 26 years old, from Glendale. And Eric is going to tell you that he started vaping as an attempt to stop smoking cigarettes. And he purchased an LG battery because he knew of the company LG, and he was told by the vaping store that the LG battery was safe. And that's simply not the case. Our law firm is handling over 80 of these e-cigarette explosion cases, and we're seeing a trend with LG. And that trend is that their batteries are defective and they're exploding. And consumers can go on a website and find thousands of options to purchase LG batteries, the 18650, for use in an e-cig product, but these batteries are exploding. So there should be no confidence in using an LG battery with an e-cigarette product because they are exploding. Eric will talk to you about his experience. I think you still need to understand that this is an industry that is not going away. Still 90% of the products are manufactured in China and coming over into the United States. And the big issue that I see in handling these cases, since we tried the case in Riverside in 2015, is the industry now unregulated is clearly targeting minors. A 900% increase of high school students using e-cigarette products between 2011 and 2015. We have middle school students, over 2 million middle and high school students using e-cigarette products, and high school students, 11 out of every 100 high school student is vaping. And what's happening is the studies are showing those that vape are now more likely to use regular tobacco cigarettes. The market is targeting minors with fruity flavors, weird names, to try to get them involved and the product itself has nicotine, the same as cigarettes, and so it becomes addicting, and then it continues on in the progression. Teens are more likely to use e-cigarettes than cigarettes at a pretty strong rate right now. But then what happens is they become dependent on it, and then ultimately they get into smoking. Big tobacco is in this game, and it's a game that is going to be a $44 billion industry estimated in 2024. Just this last year alone in 2017, it was a $5 billion industry without regulation, other than you can't sell to minors and you can't vape in public locations. But there's no federal regulation on product safety because the FDA keeps getting pushed back by legislation. Eric is just one of many people that we're filing lawsuits on behalf of today. And we have brought, because we want the public to know that this is a story that affects real people that are just trying to get through life. Fathers, mothers, boyfriends, girlfriends, workers that are vaping to try to stop smoking, and they purchase a product that explodes and causes horrific injuries. These boards we have on PDF. If you would like, we can make them available. I do believe that attention to these lawsuits brings attention to the issue, which hopefully will bring about change. This industry will not police itself. We saw how the cigarette industry failed to police itself and kept getting people addicted to cigarettes knowing that they can cause harm. It's going to take regulation to make sure that these products are safe, and we would like to bring attention to that issue. And so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and lift these boards and show you the injuries.
Down in front.
Now, not all these injuries are battery incidents, are they?
Every one of them.
Okay.
Because that one just says when his e-cigarette exploded in his face. But
Okay.
that was the battery as well.
Battery, yeah, I'll explain that. Okay, every case that we're filing, every case that we're filing, and every case that we're handling, and frankly, every case that you're seeing across the world, when you hear about an e-cigarette that's exploding, it's exploding because the battery itself exploded. And the batteries are lithium-ion batteries, and they're highly combustible, and they're flammable. And it's a chemical burn, so when you see the black area around the burns, that's because of the chemical that's within the lithium-ion batteries itself. And a chemical burn is more dangerous and causes more damage than just a regular fire burn. But what happens is that these batteries, they get too hot, they overcharge. And when they get too hot and they overcharge, it sparks and it causes combustion, a flame develops, and then it explodes. And because these are in a cylinder tube, an 18650 just means the size of the battery, they shoot out like a rocket ship. And it depends if it's exploding on the front or the back, it doesn't matter. It'll shoot out like a rocket ship and immediately catch on fire. And so every one of these will either have batteries in someone's pocket that explodes, because these are rechargeable batteries. They manufacture and sell these batteries to be used repeatedly. You buy a charger, you charge them, you use it. Once the battery life goes down, it's just like anything. Your phone no longer works, you have to recharge, put a new battery in. And so what happens is that the vape won't work. You can't get heat to come out. When you vape, you need to have heat, which takes the liquid, which has chemicals in it, including the nicotine, and turns it into vape. You have to have the heat. The batteries are all exploding. Some are exploding when it's in use, some are exploding when they're in pocket. Mr. Usury was using an LG battery, and that is his face. That is not a beard. Second and third degree burns throughout his entire face. Still has residual scarring that can't even be covered by the beard growth that he now has, which he did not have. and tremendous pain and discomfort. All of these people were simply just using the product in the intended manner that it was sold, which is to vape and then to reuse or recharge batteries when the life expectancy of the battery that was previously in the unit was too low. And so what I'm going to do is we'll have Eric Howe come up and address and explain his situation to you. I do want to address the fact we don't have photographs of Eric's injury. He's 26 years old, lives in Glendale. He purchased his product at a store in Burbank, and the battery exploded in his pocket while he was at work. Second-degree and third-degree burns to his penis, left leg, left and right thighs, his genitals, severe pain. And if you've been burned just a little bit on a pot, you know how painful that is. This is excruciating pain. He'll talk to you about that. Having to use dressings, having to bandage it back and forth. He still has discomfort, and he has concerns about the long-term effects. So we'll go ahead and bring Eric up here, and then I'll take questions afterwards, okay? Eric?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Howe. I'm 26 years old. I live in Glendale. I started vaping 2.5 years ago as an alternative to smoking cigarettes. I purchased an LG 18650 battery at eVape Mods in Burbank, California, because I knew LG was a reputable company and I thought the batteries were safe. On January 15th, 2018, while at work, on my way to meet a client walking out, the battery violently exploded in my front left pocket, setting my pants on fire. I suffered second and third degree burns to my legs, thighs, genitals, and penis. The pain was the worst you could imagine. Definitely a 20 on a scale of 1 to 10. It was just awful. Cleaning the wounds and bandaging the sensitive area was also very painful. I still have to put ointment on the affected areas. This causes pain as well. I feel pain and discomfort all the time. I'm hopeful that it will go away, and I'm also very concerned of long-term effects. I feel pain and discomfort all the time, and even though I try to go through my days and deal with it, it constantly prevents me from completing tasks in a timely manner. The public definitely needs to be aware of these batteries and the hazards that come with using them in vapes. If you buy an LG battery, typically you would assume that they would function as intended. And I think the industry definitely needs to innovate and come up with a new means to provide a safer product for people that need an alternative to smoking.
We'll go ahead. If anybody has questions for Eric or for me, we'll take questions.
Eric, is everything working okay? I mean, at this point?
Not quite. I've talked to the doctors. I'm still unsure of functionality and things like that.
What is their prognosis?
I'd have to talk
Come to the
them.
mic a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'd have to talk to them some more about it. I mean, their input is time. That's
You're saying over time you'll be
a
okay?
major factor, yeah.
Well, he doesn't know. I don't think the doctors say they don't know is what he's been told.
I imagine just because of where it happened and your injuries, it's maybe hard to come out and like admit that this happened, but was there a reason you wanted to come forward and talk to all of us? I mean, all of these other people aren't here.
Right. It's made me change my day-to-day routine. It's affected me a lot. It wasn't a small issue for me. I was out of work for quite a bit of time. I wasn't able to do the things that I enjoy. So, unlike a smaller issue, it really seemed like something that I should have a voice about and talk about. Because a lot of people are vaping, so it's definitely a current issue.
Greg, what kind of damages are you seeking in Eric's case?
Yeah, so with Eric and with all of these cases, we're seeking full compensation for the harm. So it would be obviously the medical bills and expenses that they've incurred in the past and will incur in the future, and then as well as the pain and the suffering. And for Eric, and you hit on this, it's clearly physically it's very painful right now. Emotionally, it's always very painful for anybody that suffers scarring, and especially in the areas where he has it. And the reality is he's entitled to be compensated for the emotional trauma, and we just have to see how it plays out. Whether or not there's functional problems, obviously that has to be evaluated by doctors, and the doctors are hopeful, but they don't know. And so all of that, full compensation, and to the extent that LG or these companies knew that their products were dangerous or defective, then we would also, depending upon what the circumstances are going to reveal, we would want to seek punitive damages against any company that's intentionally placing these defective products on the market.
Is there a number you can give us?
No, it's all, every one of these cases are different. The sad part about the experience that we're seeing at our law firm is that every injury is different to everybody. And so the value of someone's injury is really personal to that case. And so there's no specific dollar amount that we're asking. It'll be according to proof, but these are big cases.
Are you filing them all today?
Yeah, they're all being filed today, yes. And we'll have conformed copies if you would like to have them. We have a conformed copy of Eric's case that we can get you as well, but they're all being filed today.
Is there a point where you have to say what you're seeking in terms of a monetary sum? I always let you put a sum on there.
No, it's typically according to proof. And so sometimes in a claim made perhaps against the city or something, you might put a dollar amount, but in a general lawsuit, you just put according to proof. Yeah.
Eric, have you vaped since?
No. Oh, no. I don't want to risk having the same thing happen again.
Are you smoking cigarettes?
Yeah, I've gone back to smoking occasionally.
The reality is this industry is still operating like the wild, wild west without regulation to make sure these products are safe. It's not going to change because they are understanding they can advertise and market unlike the cigarette industry, and they can target minors, they can get people involved, get them addicted to nicotine, and not worry about the safety of the products. And it needs to change, and we're going to hold everybody accountable. All right, thank you very much, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.